Today's story is 10 Beautiful Things. Lily ran her fingers across the Iowa map. An X marked Graham's house on an empty patch of land, Lily's new home. Graham's car tires hummed against the pavement. Lily felt the vibration in her hollow chest. "Let's try to find 10 beautiful things along the way," Graham said. Lily turned her eyes to the window. "There's nothing beautiful here," she said. She struggled to fold the map so it nestled into itself just right. "You'd be surprised," Graham said. And sure enough, at that very moment, the sun broke over the long horizon. Fence posts rushed past. Graham flipped on the radio to fill the silence.
The white zone is...
Lily felt the complaints starting in her belly again, coming up her throat and nearly out of her mouth. But then Graham shouted, "Number 2!" A wind farm sprouted in the field beside the freeway, spinning windmill blades gleaming in the morning sun. Lily concentrated on the game and found number 3 real fast. A red-winged blackbird perched on a swaying stalk of last year's corn. It was dark and bright all at once, its beak wide open in a song they couldn't hear. Later, Graham signaled and turned onto a smaller road. "2 more highways to go," said Graham. Lily popped a handful of crackers into her mouth. But food didn't fill her hollow places. Graham cracked her window, and in rushed air and sound and cold. They crossed a bridge, and Graham chose number 4, the gurgly sound of a melting creek. Lily dozed off. She woke up when Graham tapped her on the knee and pointed out a falling apart barn. "That's not pretty," said Lily. "That can't count." "We're not looking for pretty. We want beautiful," Graham said. So it stood, halfway to 10. At a rest area, Lily bounced out of the car, while Graham stretched her creaky body. Lily picked number 6. "The smell of mud," she said, inhaling. Gran shut her eyes and nodded slowly. "It's earthy and rich," she said. "I'd never really noticed." Lily breathed in the mud smell and focused on just that. It poured itself into some of the empty spaces in her. Back on the road again, the car seemed smaller. The humming in Lily had stopped, but her legs wanted to sprawl, and her stomach was getting queasy. "We're on a roll now," Gran said, and she was right about that. 7 and 8 were easy, a cloud shaped like a swan, and a little brown calf that trotted beside the fence. Miles and miles later, they turned onto their last road, and the clouds began to draw close. The sky grew dark, the earth rumbled. Suddenly, the air exploded in bright flashes. Cloud banks traded lightning back and forth, showing off. "Number 9, Lily whispered. There was no room for other words. The storm took up the whole world, and it filled up Lily too. She was here with Gran, and for a whole minute that was all that mattered. On they drove, almost there, not far now. When they had been almost there for a long time, Gran braked and eased the car down a crumbling driveway and parked in front of the farmhouse. "Here we be," she said through the drum of the rain. "Home." "But we only made it to 9, Lily said, slumping in her seat. "Nope, 10, easy." Gran came around with the umbrella, and Lily stepped out of the car. "We're 10, Gran said. Lily sank into her familiar hug. None of this was easy. Maybe it would never be easy, but she belonged with Gran now. She belonged here now. This place wasn't empty, and neither was she. Today's story is Fiona the Hippo. you heard? She's here? Already? Yes! I haven't seen her. Have you seen her? Her name was Fiona, and she arrived earlier than expected. Zookeepers snuggled her and loved her, and the whole world watched. There she is, really cute, and kinda slimy, said Ostrich, as she and her friends peeked at the littlest hippo in the world. Fiona had to learn to eat from a bottle, just like other babies in the zoo, and when she was ready, she let out a snort, wiggled her ears and said, "I've got this!" Fiona grew stronger, and it was time to learn to walk, just like other babies in the zoo. And when she was ready, she let out a snort, wiggled her ears and said, "I've got this!" And wobble, wobble, plop. She tried over and over, until she did. Little Fiona grew bigger still, and it was time to learn to swim, just like other babies in the zoo. And when she was ready, she let out a snort, wiggled her ears and said, "I've got this!" And step by step, splash, she did. Fiona grew and got stronger, and the animals at the zoo were so proud. Look at our baby, so roly-poly. When can she come out to play? But Fiona was busy. She was growing and learning about new things every day. Like bubbles. As the animals in the zoo watched and the zookeepers watched, the whole world watched Fiona too. Soon the little hippo had a mountain of fan mail that said, "Congratulations, Fiona. You're amazing. We love you, little baby hippo." Then one day after she was done eating and walking and swimming, Fiona said, "I want to be in the water with them." She looked at the two big hippos swimming in the pool. "I want my mama and daddy." Fiona was finally strong enough to swim with her parents, and she was ready. She let out a snort, wiggled her ears and said, "I've got this." And she swam with her mama for the first time. "Wow, will my teeth get that big?" she asked excitedly. Fiona went swimming with her daddy too. "Wow, will my bottom get that big?" she giggled playfully. Fiona loved her family, and life was good for the little hippo. But something was missing. As much as Fiona loved her mama and daddy, she wanted something more. "I wish I had some friends to play with," she said. "Did you hear that? It's our turn to play with the baby. It's about time." And one by one, the animals joined their new friend Fiona for the biggest pool party the zoo had ever seen. That night, Fiona snuggled up with her family. She was bigger, she was stronger, she was happy, and Fiona was loved. "Go to sleep, little hippo," said her mama. "Your next big adventure is right around the corner." As Fiona drifted off to sleep, she whispered, "I've got this," and she did. Today's story is Too Much Glue. Our teacher says, too much glue never dries. She reminds us, glue raindrops, not puddles. And she warns me, Maddie, too much glue. But my dad and I love glue. At home, we make glue glasses, glue mustaches, and even glue bouncy balls. Mom is happy to help. So during art class, I find the fullest bottles of glue. I tip them over and squeeze. Bloop! Glue squishes from the orange tips and slops all over. Sequins and googly eyes float around in a gluey lake. Then it's time for the most important decoration. Geronimo! I belly flop onto the table and roll around, letting the glue and everything else cover me. Time to go on the drying rack, I announce. But when I try to pull myself off the table, I boing right back down. Too much glue, Maddie, too much glue, my teacher squawks. This is bad. There's only half an hour until the end of school, and all I can do is lift my head, wave my hands, and wiggle my feet. The rest of me is a blucky, stucky mess. Can somebody help me? I call. While my teacher breathes into a paper bag, Noah shouts, let's lasso him. Izzy, Noah, and Owen get to work. Soon I'm roped from all sides like a rodeo pony. But when they try to pull me out, snap, the lassos break, leaving colorful octopus tentacles everywhere. The glue is too strong, and now I'm a clingy, stringy, blucky, stucky mess. Don't worry, Maddie, we know what to do, shout Luke and Grace from across the room. Is that a tow truck, I ask, as they wheel the contraption over and stick a plastic hook into my suit of glue. My friends pull one way and the glue pulls the other. Creak, click, creak, click, until... Kaboom! The tow truck explodes, and plastic bricks rain all over. Now I'm a clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky mess. The school nurse bursts in and checks my temperature. 98.6. Sorry, no fever. I can't send you home early. She dabs and pats me like I'm spilled juice, but the more she blots, the more the glue spreads. Soon I'm a melted mummy, clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky mess. Then the principal comes in. He takes one look at me, sticks a note on my belly, and leaves. Seeing my teacher huffing and puffing like a train gives me a great idea. I whisper it to Haley and Owen. The final bell rings, and everyone freezes, except Owen and Haley. It's the biggest one we could make, they shout, furiously flapping a huge paper fan at me. Then just as I'm thinking I'll be note on my tummy, melted mummy, clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky glue for the rest of my life, my plan works. Something my teacher said could never happen, happens. The glue dries, but I'm still stuck, and now I hear footsteps. The door starts to open. My father and some other carpool parents walk in. Dad comes closer and inspects me. Then he peels me off the table. Glue, yarn, bricks and all. He spins me around. No one makes a sound. Then Dad smiles. Maddie, you're a masterpiece. He holds me up for everyone to admire. My friends all cheer. The car ride home is interesting. Mom is speechless when Dad brings me in the house, but he knows just what to do. Well, kiddo, Dad says, some beautiful things only happen once, and this is one of those things. He gently grips the dried glue in front of my neck and behind my collar, and peels me open like a ripe banana. Now it's Dad's turn to glue, and he seals up the sides of the me-shaped work of art. I bet it would take all the glue in the art room to make a U-shaped work of art, Dad, I say. Dad laughs. Then he glues a big magnet to the back of my project and hangs it on the fridge. During dinner, we sneak peeks at my masterpiece, and after dinner, we take the principal's note very seriously.
That's the end, folks!
Clifford's family. I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog. His name is Clifford. We live in a small town now, but we're both born in the city. One day, we went back to visit our old home in the city. Clifford hadn't seen his mother since he was a tiny puppy. She hardly knew him. She still treated him like a puppy. She checked his teeth. And she looked at his ears to see if he had been washing them. The man told us where Clifford's brother and sisters lived. We went to find them. Clifford's sister Claudia lived nearby. She was taking her owner for a walk. We went to the park with them. A taxi was blocking the crosswalk. Clifford took care of that. Next, we found his brother Nero. Nero was a rescue dog at a fire station. While we were there, the alarm rang. We followed the fire truck. Nero rushed into the building. Clifford helped him. Nero was very brave. Then we set off to the country. Clifford's other sister Bonnie was a farm dog. One of Bonnie's jobs was to herd sheep into their pen. Clifford wanted to do some farm work too. He started to drive the cows towards the barn. One of the cows was a bull, and bulls don't like the color red. Clifford wasn't scared. He was smart. He didn't want to hurt the bull, so he jumped out of the way. When Clifford jumps, he really jumps. We had one more place to visit. It was Clifford's father's home in a nearby town. The house was small, and there were a lot of kids playing in the yard. Clifford's father didn't have a collar, or a dog dish, or a dog house. But he seemed very happy. I guess it was the kids. He sure loved kids. He was a lot like Clifford, just a little smaller. Today's story is, What If Pig? What if you had a friend like Pig? What if he was the nicest pig you'd ever met? What if he was incredibly kind, fabulously fun, and endlessly generous? What if you felt pretty lucky to have a friend like Pig? That's how Mouse felt. In fact, that's how everyone felt about Pig. Pig was so kind and so generous and so much fun that he had a brilliant idea. What if I throw a party? Party checklist. Decorations, check. Hats, check. Make fancy invitations, check. Pig's party was sure to be the talk of the town. But what if Pig had a secret? Pig was a tremendous worrier, a porky panicker, a proper nervous Nelly. What if I've made a terrible mistake? What if a ferocious lion eats all the invitations? Or worse, eats all the guests? What if everyone gets stuck in a massive blizzard? What if nobody comes? Or worse, what if everybody comes and has an absolutely awful time? What if no one really likes me at all? What if? I know. What if I cancel the party? Tell everyone I'm sick.
Go to sleep and never leave the house.
Okay, Pig. If you're sure. Hey, why don't we go for a little walk?
What if I always feel sad?
Don't worry, Pig. Things don't stay gray for very long. Surprise! Maybe we're more alike than we think. What if we all talked about our worries?
I worry that no one can tell I'm a horse. My ears are too small. I'm slow.
I'm not even outdoorsy. I get really nervous around cats. I worry that I look silly.
We're scared of water. Me too.
Mousy, yay! Mouse, what if I have the kindest, most generous, and fun friends a pig could meet?
Yes, Pig. What if? Today's story is Grumpy Monkey. One wonderful day, Chimpanzee woke to discover that nothing was right. The sun was too bright, the sky was too blue, and the bananas were too sweet. Jim was confused. What's going on?
Maybe you're grumpy,
Suggested Norman from next door. I'm not grumpy, Jim insisted. On his walk, he met Marabou.
Jim's grumpy.
Norman told Marabou.
Why are you grumpy, Jim?
Asked Marabou.
It's such a wonderful day.
Grumpy? Me? I'm not grumpy, said Jim.
But look at how you're standing,
Said Marabou.
It's true, said Norman. You're all hunched.
So Jim loosened up. Then he ran into Lemur.
Jim's grumpy,
Norman told Lemur. Why are you grumpy, Jim? Asked Lemur. It's a wonderful day. Grumpy? Me? I'm not grumpy, said Jim. Your eyebrows look grumpy, said Lemur.
It's true,
Said Norman.
they're all bunched up.
Then he tripped over Snake.
Oh no, said Norman. That's the last thing you need when you're already feeling so grumpy.
Grumpy? Me? I'm not grumpy, said Jim. Then why that frown? Said Snake.
I think it's because he tripped over you,
Norman whispered to Snake. Finally, Jim looked happy. But he didn't feel happy inside. Everyone wanted Jim to enjoy this wonderful day. You should sing with us, said the birds. Jim didn't feel like singing. You should swing with us, said the monkeys. Jim didn't feel like swinging.
You should roll with us,
Said the zebras. Jim didn't feel like rolling.
You should stroll with us,
Said the peacocks. Jim didn't feel like strolling. You should lie in the grass.
You should stomp your feet.
You should take a bath.
You should take a splash.
You should hug someone.
You should laugh.
You should take a nap. You should eat old meat.
Or honey. You should jump up and down.
You should sit in the sun. You should dance. But Jim didn't feel like doing any of that. Why are you grumpy, Jim? Asked the others. It's a wonderful day. I'm not grumpy. shouted Jim as he beat his chest, and he stormed off. Jim felt sorry, a little sorry for shouting at everyone, but mostly sorry for himself.
I guess I am grumpy,
Jim sighed, and just as he was starting to feel really sad, he came upon Norman. Norman was slumped. His eyebrows were bunched up and he was frowning.
What's the matter? Are you grumpy?
Asked Jim.
No, I danced with Porcupine.
Are you okay?
Asked Jim.
It hurts, but it'll probably feel better soon,
Said Norman.
Are you still grumpy?
Yes,
Said Jim.
but I'll probably feel better soon too. For now, I think I need to be grumpy.
It's a wonderful day to be grumpy,
Said Norman, and Jim agreed. And he already felt a little better. Remember to like and subscribe. Visit your local library